Hey there, what is up? It is Nikki, your go-to gal and life coach for young adults. I created my coaching practice to help young adults get their shit together, just like I did. And through taking a hard look at your calendar, your mind, your habits, we work together through a step-by-step process to create the life you actually want. So real quick, before we get started into this podcast, well, actually two things. You notice anything different? I chopped off over 15 inches of my hair. So fun fact about me, I love donating my hair to Wigs for Kids. I've donated my hair multiple times. I think this is at least my fifth time. And I love it. It's so fun. And it's something fresh, new. It's so weird having shorter hair. I tried to style it with the beach waver. I was getting really fancy this morning. And it's cool. I'm still getting used to it. I just did it yesterday. But real quick, before we get started, I have a new offer that I'm really excited to tell you about, and it's called the Get It Together package. So I'm going to let you know you need to stop procrastinating and start taking responsibility for your future. It's time to start getting things done, to stop forgetting things, to reduce your stress levels and take action. So in this Get It Together package, you'll walk away with a customized plan to structure your weeks, stop forgetting everything, and get it together. So plus you'll have clarity on what you need to do moving forward so you can spend less time overthinking about life and enjoying it. And essentially we work together in only 2 private coaching sessions where I will help you get it together. And you'll walk away with a customized plan to structure your week so you stop forgetting everything and get it together, right? Including, or it does include unlimited support via email. And of course, there are some additional things involved, but it is a quick thing, super easy if you're not ready to make the full commitment to the coaching program. This is the avenue to go 100%. So we are diving into episode 4 today, and we are talking about the importance of reflecting. All right. And I know you probably saw the title and you're like, ugh, boring. And I get it. This may not be the most exciting topic. It's not super sexy, but really with any goals that you have, this is a necessity. This is by far one of the biggest action items that you can do that you will see the most improvement with. That's like always flies underneath the radar and gets the least amount of credit. It's really a valuable practice that supports your journey of self-discovery, learning, and of course, continuous improvement. So the most important thing you may be thinking is like, okay, I get it. So why? Why is this important? And the biggest thing, the easiest way to state that is reflection is part of growth. All right. It allows you to learn from your experiences, make meaning out of them, apply those insights to future situations. And really by reflecting on your thoughts and emotions, actions, interactions with others, you can identify your areas of improvement, develop new perspectives, and cultivate new personal growth and development. So when I talk about reflecting or your goals, that sort of thing, there's 2 main components that I focus on with my clients when it comes to their mindset. And these 2 sections or components is awareness and then management. So in order to manage your life, you need to be aware of what's going on. In order to be aware, you need to reflect. Reflection provides an opportunity to dive deeper into your thoughts, your emotions, and your experiences in a very easy way that anybody could do this. It's super simple and easy. And by taking the time to reflect, you can gain better understanding of yourself, your values, beliefs, strengths, weaknesses, aspirations. I could go on and on about the benefits of reflecting. All right. With self-awareness being a key component of personal growth, it helps you as well make more informed decisions, meaningful goals, and align your actions to your authentic self, which is a very important part because when we have goals, we have a vision of who we want to be and then we have who we are right now. And essentially, self-awareness, reflection, these things help close the gap between who you want to be and who you actually are right now. So there is a basic process for your mind and goals: reflecting, awareness, and then management. And of course, we're talking about the reflection portion right now. So reflection can be used for anything. And I mean literally anything. You can reflect on anything that happens in your life, any actions, circumstances, you name it. And the act of reflecting can take 30 seconds or it could take 20 minutes. There is no specific time that you need to reflect. And this is your personal decision that you get to decide on. And I really want to tell you about 2 ways reflecting ended up improving my personal and professional life. And then I'm going to tell you some ways how you can apply it to your life. All right. So the first one I want to talk about is my professional life. So as you guys know, I'm a life coach. I own my own practice. And what that means is I'm a business owner, and there's a lot of other things that I do in the background besides just coaching. All right. So, rewind back 3 years ago when I decided I was going to start coaching or open my own business. That involved a lot of different things. I was like, okay, cool. I can just show up and coach. Wrong. All right. There are so many other things that are involved when it comes to building a business. And there were skills that I was really good at, for example, coaching. And there were other skills that I really needed to work on, like sales, selling. I had never been in a role with sales or selling. I just naturally thought people were going to come to me. And that's not the case. It can be the case, but that wasn't the case when I first started. All right. So I realized that I needed to improve my sales skills. And so I started working with a coach, Stacey Bayman, and I went through her process and I really started improving my sales skills so I could start building an actual viable business. And one thing that I do with all of my clients, anybody who works with me, is I always start with a free consultation call. That's the first step, completely free. It's super value packed. Regardless if we work together, you always walk away with something. But I needed to figure out a way how I could feel good with talking to the people and then selling, that sort of thing. I don't like being pushy. That's not my style. And so I need to evaluate or reflect on how I could get better. So one simple exercise that she taught that was a complete game changer was reflecting on my consultation calls, because that's where the quote unquote sales happen. All right. So what I would do is I would go on a consultation call. I would do my thing. We would go through it. I would either get a yes or a no or a maybe. And then immediately afterwards, the second I hung up the phone with that potential client, I would reflect on what happened. And this is really important with this aspect because you remember the most immediately when it happens. So there's no such, you're not required to reflect the second you're done with something, but it is super helpful because the stuff, the memory, the thoughts are fresh in your mind. Okay. So when I get off the phone, I answered 3 simple questions. Those 3 simple questions were: what worked? What didn't work? And what will I do better next time? So I took a look at that exact consultation call that I just got off on, and I filled out what worked. What wins did I have? What am I proud of myself? Like, what did I do really well? Which is really important because it gives yourself credit for what actually happened that did work, that you're proud of yourself for. The next thing is what didn't work. So, what could I have done better? What kind of fell short? Where did I mess up, quote unquote? And then the last question was, what will I do better next time? And this basically combines what worked and what didn't work, and then finding out a way to improve moving forward. And this is the most important part because this is where the action starts happening. And this is where you can start using the reflection pieces and start taking action in the future to close that gap of where you are and where you want to be. All right. So I answer those 3 questions after every single consultation call for like 6 months. What worked? What didn't work? What will I do better next time? All right. When I did that, when I reflected on this specific part of my business, it improved my professional life, my business, my sales, my coaching, my confidence, my belief, my selling skills. I had a whole list. I was just naming off stuff. My communication skills. It strengthened my weak points. It helped me celebrate myself, which I know you and I are not as good at because our brains are naturally negative. And it helps me give myself concrete action items that I can implement in the next sales call. We're going to come back to those 3 questions. And this is going to be part of your takeaway as well, something that you can put into action moving forward. Another example I want to give to you is with another coach that I worked with. And this was for my personal life. So this coach helped me with aspects outside of my business. And this exercise is a little bit more intermediate, but I want to show you how I use this and how it improved me. And this is definitely something that I use with my clients during coaching sessions. So one thing that we are working on is changing my beliefs, who I am as a person. Essentially, I had this vision of who I am, who I want to be, and I needed to close that gap. And this is one way that we got into the nitty-gritty of the day-to-day stuff and helped me close that gap, okay? I did this exercise for probably over 30 days straight, and it completely changed a lot of things in my life, all right? So every single day, at the end of the day, or you could do this the next day, I'm just telling you what I'm doing. At the end of the day, I would look back at my day and I would find one thing that I want to look at. I want to reflect on. So it could be, any situation, any circumstance. It could be a communication you have with somebody, your workout, the food you ate, a work email you sent. It could be anything, okay? And I broke down what had occurred. So the situation, what was that? What thought did I have based on that situation? When I had that feeling, or when I had that thought, then it was what feeling was triggered from that thought? And then lastly, what action occurred? What behavior was prompted from that thought and feeling? So I literally just list out what actually happened, the situation, what thought or thoughts I was having, because typically there's more than one, what feeling I was having, and then what action was prompted or behavior from that. So I had that in one line or one column. Now, the next column right next to it, I wrote down the situation, the alternative thought, the alternative feeling, and the alternative action. All right. So I'm basically looking at this one exact thing that happened in my life, and I'm creating an alternative to what actually happens. And what this does is it's going to help me improve what occurred and how I could make myself better. Once again, you're reflecting to become self-aware, and then of course move into that management stage where you can actually start changing these things. Okay. So for example, and I looked up, I have my binder from this, and I looked it up, and I wanted to provide you an actual example. And this may be, this is me, okay? This is personal for me. I'm pulling this straight out. So you may not agree with this or whatever, but I just want to show you an example. Not that you won't agree with it, but For me, when I have anxiety, it comes out in really weird ways. And this is an example of this. So the situation on this day when it happened, and the situation is something happened. This step covers only the facts of what happened without any interpretations. So the situation that happened is that I went for a run and I started having anxiety during that run. Okay. The thought is what I had. Okay. And it's important to know that this may not always be correct. Your thoughts are not always true. Okay. My thought was, I'm not okay. I'm not in my safe area, which is my home. And a super irrational thought, which may sound silly to you, but I know your brain gets a super irrational and takes it and runs with shit as well. Am I dying? Right? When I look back at this, it looks silly, but when we have anxiety, we're not thinking properly. All right. So the next one is the feeling. From those thoughts, I had feelings of anxiousness, a heightened heart rate because I was running as well, and lightheadedness. And the behavior action that prompted or came from that thought and feeling was ultimately I turned around and went home. I did not finish my exercise. And then afterwards, when I got home, I lied down and I wasn't productive afterwards. All right. So that's what actually happened on this day. That's what I decided to reflect on. So what's my alternative thought, my alternative feeling, and my alternative action? My alternative thoughts was, my body is tired. You did great. You're just recovering. And something that's super important that helps me with my anxiety is this will pass. Anxiety is only temporary. This will pass. All right. When I had those alternative thoughts, alternative feelings that would have happened based on those thoughts were understanding, acceptance, maybe even gratefulness or just calmness. And when I had those feelings, alternative behaviors or actions that could have happened was I rested, maybe I walked instead of ran, or I meditated to help the anxiety at that point. So you see how important just reflecting is, because it kind of almost calls you out on your own shit. That's one way to say it, right? Because you look at what you're doing or what you did do in that day and said, we could have probably done this better, and this is how we could have done it. All right. And when I did this for over 30 days straight, it increased my awareness, especially around anxiety and stress. It improved how I had hard conversations. It helped me show the gaps in the way I was showing up and the way I wanted to be. It fine-tuned small actions that happened in the day that compounded into the bigger picture. It helped my communication skills. It showed my thought process that wasn't helping me, like that one thought, am I dying? That's not helpful to me. And then lastly, it gave me time to process what I could have done better. And that is super, super important for growth, because you have to reflect. You have to look back at what happened or what's been happening and seeing how you can improve in small, simple ways. So what I want for you to do is to apply this in some sort of way. I want you to reflect. This is a very easy exercise that you can do at any point during the day. You can literally do this for workout sessions, emails, healthy meals prepared, bad meals that you ate, grocery shopping, budgeting, hard conversations, anything that you do, the way you wake up. I mean, I could list probably, it's 9 a.m. for me. I could list probably 30 things that I've already done this morning that I could reflect on. The way I did my hair. Yeah, you may not want to reflect on the way you did your hair, but I'm just showing you how detailed and how many things that you could talk about, or not talk about, you could think about when you reflect. All right. And going back to how this could be done, it could be done in 20 seconds. It could be done in 20 minutes. You can write these things down. You can go through it in your head. Okay. I prefer to write things down because it helps you separate yourself from what actually happened and what you want to happen. But if you're not in that situation where you can write things down, you can easily do this exercise while driving to work, while eating your lunch on your lunch break, or walking. It can be done. And I'm saying this because you have literally no excuse not to do this. Sorry. All right. So what I want you to do when it comes to reflecting, I want you to work on those 3 simple questions that I talked about that helped me improve my business. What worked? What didn't work? What will I do better next time? And I want you to take those 3 questions and reflect on specific scenarios that happened. Okay. And just start getting into the routine, because once again, when you start reflecting like this, you're going to become more aware. And when you become more aware, you can start managing that. And when you can start managing that, you can start making changes and start reaching your goals. All right. Just as a quick recap, my Get It Together package, I'm really excited and I want to make sure that you hear this. You need to stop procrastinating and start taking action on your future. It's time to get things done. It's time to start forgetting things. It's time to reduce your stress levels. And lastly, it's time to start taking action. In my Get It Together package, you're going to walk away with a customized structure or plan to structure your weeks so you start forgetting everything, or stop forgetting everything, and start getting things done. The package includes 2 coaching sessions where we focus on just an overview of what's going on in your schedule so we can get that stuff organized. And then also you have unlimited email support between those sessions where we can continually start working on it together. Comment below on this video, say Get It Together. Shoot me an email at hello@nikkiherbert.com and we'll get you set up for your first session. It is a simple, easy investment of $300. And like I said before at the beginning, if you are looking for some sort of commitment, but you can't make the full commitment for the coaching program right now, this is the way to get in. It is a perfect taste and a perfect way I can show you how you can exceed your expectations with just 2 simple coaching calls. All right. All right. So drop a comment below what resonated with you. And then, of course, don't forget to reflect. All right. Take some time. I want to hear about it. Message me. I'd love to talk to you about it. Shoot me a message. Let's do this. All right. Talk to you soon. Have an awesome week. Bye.